We are now in the era of Imperial Israel. A new status quo is being established by the United States, Israel, and their partners across the region and in Europe. War rules the world. Permanent genocide. There is no turning back. The Zionist Empire of Israel is expanding. Israel, in 600 days, has bombed Gaza, Syria, Lebanon, Iran, Yemen, and the coast of Malta. Israel is setting the world on fire to protect its genocide. From a settler colonial ideology to an imperial power, the choice in the region is between independence or direct Israeli control. Israel is today a psychopathic entity. It kills as it breathes.
Let me just bring you some breaking news. Around 60 people, including 20 children, have been killed in an attack on a housing complex in the capital, Tehran.
Israel has added Iranian children to the long list of children it kills. It also killed civilians, nuclear scientists, and even the person heading Iran's nuclear negotiations, Ali Shamkhani.
Today we sat down with Ali Shamkhani. He said Iran also wants a deal.
Yes, we are ready.
We can definitely have better relations with the U.S.
Shamkhani said that Iran is willing to commit to never having a nuclear weapon, to getting rid of its stockpiles of highly enriched uranium, to only enriching to a level needed for civilian use, and to allow inspectors in to oversee it all, in exchange for lifting all sanctions immediately. He said Iran would accept that deal tonight.
Zionism is, of course, as we have known for many decades, the enemy of peace in the region. Israel has bombed a nuclear facility in Iran. If any state in the world were to bomb a nuclear facility anywhere, there would be universal condemnation of that act. Instead, we find universal collaboration with that act.
A Downing Street spokesperson has told us that the Prime Minister has spoken to the President of France, Emmanuel Macron, and the German Chancellor Friedrich Merz this morning. The leaders discussed the long-held grave concerns about Iran's nuclear program. The leaders reaffirmed Israel's right to self-defense.
They forget to mention that Israel has over 200 nuclear warheads, which it does not declare. It's the only state in the Middle East which does so. Israel procured nuclear weapons through the work of Jonathan Pollard, an Israeli spy within the US military, who stole military secrets from the US, particularly on the development of nuclear weapons, and gave them to Israel. It is on the back of that treachery that Israel was able to obtain its nuclear arsenal.
Well, in 2015, after nearly 30 years in prison and extensive efforts to free him, Pollard was granted parole, just under strict conditions. Pollard's parole has since been lifted, and his 5-year ban on travel was also now allowed to go unrenewed, in a move seen by some as a parting gift from the Trump administration.
Israeli nuclear scientist Mordechai Vanunu tried to lift the lid on Israel's nuclear program when he was under the care of the Rupert Murdoch-owned Times newspaper, and tell the world about what was happening.
To inform the world about Israel's nuclear secret.
However, he was swiftly honey-trapped and kidnapped by Israel's external intelligence agency, Mossad.
The door opened and immediately jumped on me 2 people, and one kicked me in the stomach and I collapsed. Another one jumped on me, put his hand on my mouth, silencing me. Another woman came and injected me, and then I lost my conscience.
He was imprisoned for decades, most of it in solitary confinement, and now he is not allowed to leave occupied Palestine or have any communication with quote-unquote foreigners.
All what I want is to be free and to feel freedom. It could happen only when I leave Israel. To be free is to leave this country and to go abroad. Send me free from Israel. Let me go out of Israel.
Israel and its supporters talk about this as a preemptive strike against Iran. But it is Israel that has within its military directorate something called the Samson option, which is justifying the use of nuclear weapons against a target it deems fit. Iran has no such directive and has no nuclear weapons. Iran is being targeted for regime change because for decades, it has supported the Palestinian resistance. The commitment of Iran to Palestine's liberation is not emotional or symbolic. It can be clearly traced through the words of both the Palestinians and their enemies. As was revealed by Talal Naji, the General Secretary of the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, Iran has gone to great lengths to arm, train and fund all of the Palestinian resistance factions fighting Israel. He also asserts that Iran made possible for the Palestinian factions to develop their own means to defend themselves through training which took place in Iran, Syria, Lebanon and Gaza. Talal Naji stated it was Soleimani himself who oversaw the delivery of Russian Kornet missiles to the resistance factions, which were then able to lay waste to Israeli Merkava tanks. Saleh al-Aruri, the late Hamas leader, stated Iran was the only state in the world with a budget that existed specifically for Palestinian liberation. The testimony of these individuals on Iran's contribution to the Palestinian cause cannot be discounted when understanding the development of all of this. The leader of the Iranian Revolution, Khomeini, stated,
"We are the supporters of any oppressed people. Anyone, anywhere who is oppressed, we will have sympathy with them. The Palestinians are oppressed by the Israelis, and Israelis is the oppressor, so we are sympathetic with the Palestinians."
He also stated, everyone should realize that the world's superpowers aim to create Israel does not end with the occupation of Palestine. They plan, heaven forbid, extending the fate of Palestine to all Arab countries. We are now in the process of the Greater Israel Project. Foreign intervention and regime change is not new in Iran. In the early 50s, Mohammad Mossadegh, a leader who was democratically elected, was overthrown in a CIA and MI6-backed coup in order to push back and establish what is now known as British Petroleum, BP. At that time, the company, the Anglo-Iranian oil company, Mossadegh hoped to nationalize it and use the country's resources for the betterment of his people. For that, he was overthrown and the Shah was installed. Today, you have the son of the Shah vying to take over Iran.
The ultimate solution is regime change. Now we have an opportunity.
Where are we heading? Alex Karp of CIA firm Palantir, which has been essential to Israel's genocide in Gaza.
I'm super proud of our stuff on the battlefield and to kill our enemies and scare them because they know they will be killed. That's my agenda. It doesn't have to be yours.
Alex Karp says that a three-front war with China, Russia, and Iran is on the cards. The United States is remaking the world, and Israel is the spear. We need to use our voices in every way we can to fight for peace and not war. While this policy is being taken by some of the most unpopular governments in the history of humanity, the vast majority of people across the world are against this war. Israel has normalized the killing of children in Palestine, in Gaza, in Yemen, in Syria, in Lebanon, and now Iran. The longer this continues, the more possible it will be in future to kill other children in other places. This is degrading our own humanity. As you can imagine, it is very difficult to publish information like this that reaches a wide audience. We are very fortunate to have Double Down News existing in the public sphere in the way it does, publishing this vital information. So please support Double Down News now and join their Patreon.